Good afternoon to all of you here who are present in the class and welcome back to the class. Yes, good afternoon, Ganesh sir. Ganesh Anna, sorry. Okay, all of you, very good afternoon. Today is chemical bonding, day number 9. Day number 9, where we are going to discuss about the directional nature of the chemical bonding. Directional nature of the chemical bonding, because of which different structure, different structure we are going to discuss today. Because as a covalent bonding is a strictly directional, so it gives a geometrical structure, geometrical structure to the molecule. But how this structure came? That's the original theory what we discussed previously, that we call as a electronic theory of valency, explain about the structure of the molecule. So it failed there. It held there. Right. So electronic theory of valency failed to explain about the structure of the molecule. Why different molecules have different structure, like BeCl2, beryllium chloride, or carbon dioxide, or hydrogen cyanide. These are linear structure. These are linear structure. And if you talk about the boron trifluoride, so boron trifluoride is a planar triangular or trigonal planar shape. Why it is? With a bond angle is 120 degrees. Why methane gas is a tetrahedral structure with a bond angle is 109 degree 28 minutes with the central atom. Why ammonia is pyramidal in shape, or triangular pyramidal you can say also, or trigonal pyramidal also we can say, with bond angle is 107 degree 48 minutes. Water molecule, instead of being linear, why it is a V shape with a bond angle is 104 degree 31 minutes. So these things it could not be explained by the your electronic theory of valency. Electronic theory of valency. That's right. A new theory was developed. Right. That theory we are going to discuss now. Another point of failure was bond length and the bond energy. Already we discussed in our previous class about the bond length. The bond length is nothing but the equilibrium distance between the two neighboring nuclei. Two neighboring nuclei, which is measured in either angstrom or it is measured in the picometer, nanometer, like that. Whereas bond energy is nothing but it is the either bond formation energy or bond dissociation energy. Means certain energy is required to break the bond, and similar quantity of energy it is going to produce whenever the new bond is formed. So a chemical reaction is nothing but the breaking of the bond and making of the bond. Making of the bond. So these two energy, one is released during the formation of new bond, and one is required to break the bond. These two energy together called as a bond energy. As in covalent bond, we observe that whether it is polar or non-polar, both the elements, both the atoms, they share equal number of electrons, equal number of electrons from their own side. Electrons are similar because electron belongs to sodium atom, electron belongs to chlorine atom, both are equal, both are same. Then the bond length is expected to be same because it is a uh, sharing is occurring or the bond is forming between the two electrons belongs to two different elements. So irrespective of type of element, the bonding is occurring between the two electrons. So bond length, bond energy must be equal, must be equal. But it is practically found that the bond energy are different from each other. Different from each other. Last time I have shown you the PowerPoint presentation or data representation, where you have found that the bond length and bond energy both are different from each other. Let me share here. Uh, okay, so let me share here my screen so that you can check what are the bond length and bond energy. So once you check whether you are able to see or not, okay, whether you are able to see or not. Once you check whether you are able to see or not, once you check, can you see or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I think you can see very well. So here you can observe here the carbon-carbon bond, carbon-oxygen bond, carbon-hydrogen bond, carbon-nitrogen bond, carbon-chlorine bond, chlorine-chlorine bond, hydrogen chlorine bond, hydrogen. Uh, yes, Vaishnavi, tell me how may I help you? Vaishnavi, Vaishnavi, tell me how may I help you? Okay, no response I got. Okay, so different type of bonds here it is forming.
Unnecessary came, sir.
Okay, okay, right. Okay, thank you.
ఇది ఎట్లా తీయాలి?
Okay, mute yourself. Vaishnavi, mute yourself. Right. Okay. So here we are observing here that irrespective of type of element, as electrons are said equally. So here bond energy are different, and also you can observe the bond length also. Hydrogen bond length is 0.74 angstrom. Fluorine fluorine bond length is 1.44 angstrom. Chlorine bond length is 1.95 angstrom. Bromine 2.28. Iodine 2.68. Hydrogen and fluorine 0.918. Hydrogen and chlorine 1.27. Though similar electrons are sharing here, the bond length and bond energy expected to be same, but it is not same. It is not the same. So because of these failure, the new theory was developed. This we call as valence cell electron pair repulsion theory. What do we call it? The valence cell electron pair repulsion theory. The short form is VSEPR. Let me repeat this theory. What we call it? This theory is called valence cell electron pair repulsion theory, or short form as VSEPR. Right. This theory was proposed by and Powell. Sidgwick and Powell in 1940, and it is improved by because of wherever the proposer there was some shortcomings or drawback. That's right. It is again improved in 1957 by Gillespie and Nyholm. So these are the main contributor of this theory. Main contributor of this theory. Who are they? One is Sidgwick and Powell in 1940, Gillespie and Nyholm in 1957. Who developed the theory? Who developed the theory to predict the shape of the geometrical shape of the molecule. Geometrical shape of the molecule. So what this theory is saying? What is the basic principle of the theory? The basic principle of the theory is because of the strict directional nature and uh, the molecules are forming here more than two elements, more than between two elements. The main content with the central atom, the main content with the central atom. So with the central atom, because central atom may consist of lone pair electron and bonded pair of electrons. So these lone pair presence with the valence shell in the central atom, it plays a very great role that decides the shape and size of the or structure of the molecule. Structure of the molecule. So they propose that these shapes are occurring because in order to have the minimum repulsion, because lone pair, they repel each other. Lone pair, bond pair, they also repel each other because they are also electron. Bond pair also repel each other because they are also electron, because equal type of charges are there. Equal type of charges are there. That means inside the central atom, if we talk about around the central atom, several type of repulsion occur. What are they? One is the lone pair repulsion. One is lone pair, bond pair repulsion. Third one is bond pair repulsion. Lone pair means the electron which are present in the valence shell not participating in the bond. That is called lone pair. Bond pair or shared pair of electron is nothing but these are the electrons present in the valence shell but participating in the bond formation. That we call as bonded pair of electron or your the shared pair of electron. So it is practically found that this lone pair of electron, it occupies more space. It occupies more space around the central nucleus, right? And it is also found that the lone pair repulsion is greater than lone pair bond pair repulsion is greater than bond pair and bond pair repulsion. So what is the reason behind? What is the reason behind? See here, the lone pair repulsion, why it is greater? Because these electrons are only attached to the central atom, only attached to the central atom nucleus. Whereas this bonded pair of electrons are attached to both the nucleus, attached to both the nucleus. That means their repulsion is a little bit less. Repulsion is a little bit less because their attraction is more. So that's why lone pair repulsion is greater than lone pair bond pair repulsion is greater than bond pair repulsion. So it is practically found that in order to have minimum repulsion, so that the molecule become more stable. Molecule become more stable. So it should have a minimum repulsion. Minimum repulsion. And the lone pair repelling more and more. That's why it will occupy more space around the central nucleus. So if we know about how many lone pair are there, how many bond pair are there, we can predict the structure of the molecule. So this valence shell electron pair repulsion theory, the main intention of this theory to predict the shape or structure of the covalent compound. Right. So whenever the molecule is forming with a different structure, the structure is representing that there is a repulsion. There is a repulsion because of which the bond length is going to change. Because if more quantity of repulsion will be, the bond which are forming, it will disturb. It will disturb the bond length. It will disturb the structure because of this repulsion. That's why the expected bond length will decrease at the central atom. It will decrease at the central atom. So that's why this theory we call as a valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. So let's take one example how they explain. So the case one, the case one, the case one is saying that certain element has two bonded pair or four bonded pair without a lone pair with the central atom. So the case number one is here two or four DP. DP means bonded pair of electron with no lone pair electron. No lone pair of electron means the central atom has two bonded pair or four bonded pair without a lone pair. Without a lone pair. So let us take the example of what will be the structure there. What will be the structure there? So let us take here the example as BeCl2. BeCl2. So how the beryllium chloride is formed? Though beryllium is coming under the group 2 element that is called alkaline earth metal, but it is found that beryllium chloride is covalently bonded. It is found that beryllium chloride is a covalently bonded, though it has two electrons in its outermost, but it does not form anionic bond. It forms covalent bond. Because of its structure, because of its electronegativity, because of the ionization energy, all that factor affecting that. Okay. So here BeCl2, it is formed by covalent bonding. So now here the starting element is here so Be plus 2Cl or Cl2, it will form BeCl2. Right. So both are non-metals. Both are the non-metals. So primary requirement is fulfilled. Now second port is a Be, the beryllium, hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium. So the atomic number is a 4. That means the electronic configuration we can write that is your helium configuration with a 2s2. So it has your two electron in its outermost. Two electron in its outermost. We will discuss why it formed the covalent bonding. Why it is formed covalent bonding. We will discuss in our next theory. It is coming. That is called hybridization. Right. So there again we are going to discuss why it formed the your this. Okay. So it has a two electron, and moreover you can observe here these two electrons are paired electrons. So it has two electrons actually, right? And that too in a fulfilled orbital. So it must be because two electrons are present, it must be capable of donating, but it is not capable of donating. So there another theory is proposed which we call as hybridization or promotion of electron. So as there are two electrons are there are two electrons are there here. So these two electrons are shared with a two chlorine. Two chlorine. So it is a your excess of two electrons. So second one is your chlorine, right? The atomic number is 17. The electronic configuration is neon 10 over next 3s2 3p5. So it has a fulfilled orbital in the 3s and your this is a 3p has how many electrons you can observe here. So there is an unpaired electron here. There is an unpaired electron in 3pz orbital. Right. So it is shortage of one electron and it is a excess of two electrons. So that's why what will happen? Now it will share two electrons. The beryllium, it will share two electrons with a two neighboring chlorine. Two neighboring chlorine to get the nearest inert gas configuration of helium. Right. But here in the beryllium, inert gas configuration is not achieved here. Why and how? Let us observe here. Right. So here the central atom here is your beryllium. Central atom is your beryllium. So it is sharing how many electrons you observe? Two electrons. So this is one electron. This is another electron with neighboring chlorine. So this is your chlorine with a 7 electron in its outermost. Second chlorine this side. Right. So it is sharing the beryllium is sharing two electrons with a two neighboring chlorine for the bond formation. So here you observe here how many bonded pair of electrons are there with the central atom. Central atom is nothing but beryllium. So these electrons will revolve around this chlorine. Now chlorine is getting the nearest inert gas configuration, that is your argon structure, right? So stability of this chlorine is increasing. So this chlorine also gets the similar structure. But what about this beryllium? So you observe around this beryllium, how many electrons are present in the outermost? So you can say here 1, 2, 3, and 4. So only 4 electrons. So here it is not achieving the nearest inert gas configuration. It do not have either duet structure or octet structure. So there we can say that there is an expansion in octet rule. Our octet rule is saying that all the elements they achieve the nearest inert gas configuration in order to achieve the stability. But here, beryllium is failed to achieve, but still it is forming the compound. So it is due to the expansion in the octet rule. So certain element do not follow. Certain element do not follow. Only certain element, not all the certain element do not follow here. Now you can observe beryllium has how many bonded pair. So this is one bonded pair. This is another bonded pair with the central atom. Central atom is beryllium. So it has a two bonded pair. And how many lone pair are there? There are no lone pair. So our case is fulfilled here. So it has a two bonded pair with a no lone pair electrons. So there is no lone pair at the central atom. That's right. This your this is one bond. This is another bond. The angle between this bond, that is a beryllium chloride bond is how much degree? 180 degree. So this is called bond angle. This is called the bond angle. We denote as a theta. So what is bond angle? That is the angle between two bonds. These are two bonds. This angle is how much? 180 degree, and the structure will be linear structure. The structure will be linear structure. So case 1 is saying that if it has two bonded pair or four bonded pair with a no lone pair with the central atom, the structure will be linear structure. Structure will be linear structure with a bond angle is how much degree? 180 degree. 180 degree. Right. So this is the your case 1. The similar thing you can observe your with the four bonded pair you can observe here with a carbon dioxide. Another example, if I take carbon dioxide, carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide also what the carbon do? The carbon has four electron in its outermost. So this is one carbon with a four electron in its outermost. From the electronic configuration you can find, and it is sharing with two oxygen. So here oxygen which has six electron in its outermost. This is another oxygen, six electron in the outermost. Right, and here the bond is forming. Carbon is sharing two electron with two oxygen. Carbon is sharing two electron with two oxygen. So two with this oxygen, two with this oxygen, two with this oxygen. So here there are how many bonded pair you can observe here? 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there are four bonded pair with the central atom, and there is no lone pair. There is no lone pair electron here. So here also the bond length will be how much degree? Now this bond length will be 180 degree, and the structure will be linear structure. Right. Another example is your hydrogen cyanide, HCN. So this is also your linear. So how? The carbon has a tetravalency. So it is valency is a 4. The valency is what? A 4. So carbon is sharing 3 electron with a nitrogen. Okay. With a nitrogen, and one it is sharing with a hydrogen. One is sharing with a hydrogen. Right. So with the central atom you can observe there is no lone pair, but there is a lone pair with a nitrogen. There is a lone pair with a nitrogen. So in this hydrogen cyanide, this bond angle is expected to, or it is equal to how much degree? 180 degree, and structure is a linear structure. Structure is what? The linear structure. Right. So this is the first point. This is the first point or first case about this valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. So here, these bonded pair, they repel each other. They repel each other and separated by an angle that is equal to 180 degrees. That's right. The structure of DCl2 is a linear structure, or carbon dioxide is a linear structure, or your hydrogen cyanide is a linear structure. So this is the case one, what? Two or four bonded pair with a no lone pair of electron with the central atom. There, the structure will be linear with bond angle is 180 degree. 180 degree. Okay. Coming to the second case. Coming to the second case. So case two. The case one I am putting here. Okay. Coming to the case two. Coming to the case two. So if it has a three bonded pair, if it has a three bonded pair with a no lone pair. So case two. Right. If the central atom has three bonded pair electron with a no lone pair electron, right? Then what will be the structure? What will be the structure? So let us check what will be the structure here, right? So let us take an example of boron trifluoride. So take the example of BF3, boron trifluoride. So here, how it is forming? The boron reacting with 3 fluorine, and it is forming boron trifluoride, BF3. So both are non-metals. So it is formed by covalent bonding. It is formed by covalent bonding. Okay. Now boron. Right. Hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron. So that means 5. So Z is equal to 5. The electronic configuration of boron is helium configuration 2 over, next 2s2 and 2p1. So here 2s is completely filled here, and 2p is partially filled. That means it has one unpaired electron in 2px1. So as there are the 3 electron in its outermost, 3 electron in the outermost. So it is expected to form any bond. It is expected to form any bond, but it does not form because boron is not a metal. It is a non-metal. Moreover, due to hybridization, this one electron will promote here, making it valency 3. That we are going to discuss in our next class when the hybridization will come. So now, your fluorine. So next element is a fluorine. So it's here how many electron here? 3 electrons. Okay. So next is your fluorine. The atomic number is a 9. Right. The electronic configuration of fluorine is here got the helium configuration 2 over, next 2s2 and 2p5. 2p5. And this is completely filled here. And this is there is an unpaired electron in 2pz orbital. 2pz orbital. So 2pz1. So that's right. One boron set one electron with 3 fluorine. So central atom is here. This is your boron. So what is how many electron? The 3 electron. This is 1 electron. This is the second electron, and this is the third electron. Right. And next is your fluorine. As a 7 electron. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another fluorine here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. Another fluorine is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 here. So now the bond is forming here. The bond is forming here. So you can observe here how many your bond pair is there. You can observe here. You can observe here. There are 3 bond pair. There are three bond pair electron with the central atom. Here central atom is what the boron. So these electrons will revolve around and now your fluorine, each fluorine is getting the nearest inert gas configuration of neon configuration by sharing one electron with the boron. But whatever the central atom you observe here, this is the central atom. Now the central atom has how many bonded pair? Three bonded pair. So three bonded pair into two equal to six. So here also it is not achieving the inert gas configuration, neither in inert gas configuration. But still it is a stable. Still it is stable and forming the compound here. Right. It is because of extension of the octet rule. Now, with this, you can observe here. So this is the bonded pair, this is bonded pair, this is bonded. These bonded pair of electrons, they will repel each other. They will repel each other and making them separate by a bond angle which is equal to how much degree? 120 degree. How much degree? 120 degree. This bond angle is how much? 120 degree. That's why the shape will be here. What is the shape you can observe here? Like this. Right. Central atom is B and this is your fluorine. This is another fluorine and this is another fluorine. So here the bond angle is how much degree? 120 degree. This structure we call as your triangular planar or planar triangular structure. This structure what we call planar triagonal. Planar triagonal structure or trigonal planar also you can say because boron will be in one plane and in three vertices of an equilateral triangle there will be three fluorine. So that is the structure here. So that's why in the second case what if there are three bonded pair of electrons with a no lone pair, so here the structure will be planar triangular. Planar triangular. Which bond angle is how much? 120 degree. Bond angle is how much degree? 120 degree. Right. Coming to the next example. Coming to the next case. Coming to the next case. Case 4. Case what? 4. Right. So case 4. Sorry, not the case 4. Case 3. So if the element, central element consists of four bonded pairs with no lone pair, of electrons, then what will be the structure here? The very great example of this is your methane gas. What is that? The methane gas, CH4. So how the CH4 is forming? Now here carbon reacting with two hydrogen and it is forming CH4. Carbon is a non-metal, hydrogen is also a non-metal, so it is a covalent bond. Okay, so carbon, the atomic number is how much? 6. The electronic configuration is what the helium configuration with 2s2, right, and 2p2. That means it has a 4 electron. How many electrons are there? 4 electrons in its outermost. Right. That's why it says how many electrons? 4 electrons with the 4 hydrogen. So hydrogen, the atomic number is 1. The electronic configuration is your 1s1. So the central atom is a carbon, right? So it is shared with 4 hydrogen. So 1 hydrogen, second hydrogen, third hydrogen, and fourth hydrogen. Fourth hydrogen. So this is 1 electron. And this is the electron here. Right. So this right here, what is happening you can observe here. There are 4 bond pair of electron and there are no lone pair. No lone pair electron. So these bonded pair of electron, what they'll do? They'll repel each other. They will repel each other. That's why these bond lengths here, this bond angle will decrease here at the central atom. That's why your how this will form? It will form like this. See, one hydrogen is up, second hydrogen because of repulsion. Because of the repulsion here, this is second hydrogen and this is the third hydrogen. With a bond angle will be the bond angle will be how much? 109 degree 28 minutes, and the structure is called your this structure we call as tetrahedral. Tetrahedral. This is another structure with bond angle is how much? 109 degree 28 minutes because of bond pair repulsion is increasing. That's why they repel each other. That's why the bond angle is disturbed here. The bond angle is what? Disturbed here. Instead of it is becoming 90 degree, it becomes 109 degree 28 minutes. Got it? So this is the case number 3. So rest of the two cases we are going to discuss in our next class. So if you have any confusion,